welcome to Cinda's Delish. On Cinda's Delish Cooking Out of the Cupboard, I will teach you how to cook things out of your cupboard that you already have on hand. I also will include a list down below for the ingredients I recommend that you keep on hand. So tonight we're going to cook pork chop casserole, and it's a real simple, easy recipe to make. If you don't like pork chop or don't want to cook pork, we can also substitute chicken breast. I would recommend this boneless, skinless chicken breast. This is a very quick and easy recipe that you will cook many, many times over, I feel sure. So what you'll need is you're going to need some pork chops. I use the bone-in pork chops, but if you prefer center cut, you can use center cut. It's perfectly fine, because part of Cinda's Delish is just teaching you how to cook, and you can just emphasize on what you want or what you like better than anything that I suggest. If you don't like pork and use chicken, that's absolutely okay. You just need to cut it lengthwise and make in 2 halves so it makes it kind of thin, so when it cooks into your casserole, it'll cook evenly. And this casserole is great because it has the potatoes and the meat all in one dish, so all you got to do is worry about your side dish after you get this in the oven. So the first thing you want to do is you want to preheat your oven to 350. So that'll be ready to go when you got your pork ready to go, your dish ready to go, because the last thing you want to do is be worried about getting your oven up to temperature while you're waiting after you already have it already made. So we have our pork chops here, and we have some potatoes. I like to use Yukon Gold potatoes. They're kind of my favorite. They're real buttery and have a good flavor to them. But like I said, this show is about teaching you how to cook, and you can use the things that you like. This is just what I prefer. So you want to have 4 to 5 medium-sized potatoes, depending on your family size. If you need more, of course, add more. And you peel them, and then you rinse them off with water to get all the dirt off of them. And then you slice them and about a 1/4 inch round, just like that. And you want to make sure they're nice and even so that they cook evenly on the bottom of your pan. So you're going to cut those up in these rounds, which I already have some cut up for us to get started. So we have those. And you also want to have a medium onion, and you clean this all up. I like to cut the ends off first. You cut the ends off, and then I have a little garbage bowl right here, and then you just peel the skin off, just like so, and get it ready to chop into rings, and you'll start chopping that into rings, just like so. And about 1/4 inch as well, because you want to have these all to cook equally in your oven. So we have those. I have one more here, and it's kind of close to the end, so I'm going to take my knife and kind of run it down and hold my hand across it like this, so you can kind of get a ring out of it and not cut yourself while you're doing it. So we have our potatoes and onion cut up. Also, we use a nice ripe green pepper. I can't even talk today. You want to cut it up in rings as well. And I've already washed this with soap and water and dried it. So we're just going to start cutting it in the 1/4 ounce rings, just like this. So we make everything simple in rings. Perfect, huh? And if you don't like these veggies that I've selected, then put your veggies in that you like, or leave them out. Like I said, this show is about teaching you how to cook, and you can cook with the things you like to do. So we're going to cut those down, just like that. And you want to take this membrane out in the seeds because it's kind of bitter, so you don't want to have that in your dish. And it's real easy just to pop them out just like that after you cut them up. I have a little garbage bowl over here to the side that I'm putting them in, as you can't see, it's off camera. So we're going to get the membrane and the seeds out and get those ready to go. You can just pinch them out just like that. Perfect. This is going so well. I don't know about where y'all are at, but where we're at, the weather's been kind of cold. We're South Mississippi, close to Biloxi, where, you know, we're infamous for our casinos. And we try to stay away from there because I mostly make a deposit instead of withdrawal. So we stay away. I'm going to just slice this last one kind of thin to get it all in there. Perfect. And then we also, on our pork chops, we want to have them ready. So we're going to... what we'll have to do with these is we're going to have to brown them up a little bit to get them seared, and you want to sear in the juices. That's what, when you sear it, you want to sear it in to sear the juices in. So that's why we sear this up. So we're going to do that. So I have a skillet right here, kind of a large skillet. I'm going to move some things over. And I'm a big fan of butter spray or olive oil spray or oil spray oil. So I'm going to coat my pan with some oil. And you want to wash your pork chops off because the butcher sometimes leaves bone shards on there. And, you know, they're in a hurry to get home and have their beer or something, so they don't rinse them. So you want to make sure you rinse them really well in some cold water to get the shards off of them. And pat them dry with a paper towel because you want your seasoning to stick to it good. And you don't have to flour these at all. You're just going to cook them right into the skillet. So I'm going to turn my stove on to medium-high heat so we can get these going. And while that's going, I'm going to season my pork chops. And I like to use Cavenders. Cavenders is a real good Greek season. I like to use that. I like to use this Badia complete season. It's the best season I've found yet. It has all the ingredients I love, and I love to use this. And to spice up a little bit, I'm going to use just a little bit of Tony Chachere's, just a little bit. It has a lot of salt in it, so I don't add any extra salt to it. And I don't usually cook with a lot of salt anyway, because I think that we have too much salt in our foods as it is. And of course, fresh ground black pepper. So we're going to start getting those seasoned up. And you want to get them seasoned on both sides. Nice and seasoned up. So that gives a lot of flavor when you're cooking down in this casserole. Look at this little guy. That's how they rip you off in the grocery store. They put this little guy up underneath all the other big fillets of pork chop and think you got all big fillets. And then you get this little winnie in there. So we season that up with our Greek seasoning, our complete seasoning. In the meantime, my skillet's getting warm over here. I'm going to start browning these up. Searing all those good juices. I got 4, so that's plenty for my family, but if you have a larger family, then you may need 6 or 8. So you just do according to what your needs are at your family. So we get those seasoned up. A little Tony's going on in here. Just a light sprinkle of Tony's because I don't want it too salty or too spicy. And there's a little wing gut guy. There we are. Getting that going good. Okay. So I've just kept one hand on the pork so I don't contaminate and cross-contaminate any of my items in here. So I've been only using this one for spices. So we're going to add some pepper. And I'm going to start loading these into my hot pan over here. Oh, hear that sizzle? Doesn't that sound good? You want the pan hot so you sear them, because if it's anything less than hot, it's just going to like steam them, and you want them a nice crisp sear on the outside. Put our pepper on there. And I love this little pepper shaker. It's got batteries, and I think I just use it to let the batteries run out. My husband got it for us. I have a nice wash rag here that has disinfectant on it, so I can clean my hands as I go. And I'm not spreading, cross-contaminating any germs. Salmonella or any kind of thing. So we got these going in the pan. I thought I had enough room to put all 4 of them, but I don't. So in the meantime, I'm going to move my chops over here. And I'm going to get my casserole dish going. So I'm going to spray it with my spray oil. And I'm going to start layering my potatoes, onions, and bell peppers to lay my veggies down. So I just don't have enough room in this kitchen. So we're just going to layer the potatoes, down on the bottom. And I got them pretty evenly cut so they cook evenly. Oh, and to ring the... Never mind. All right, we're getting those layered down. And if you have too many potatoes, that's okay. Just put them in the refrigerator in some cold water. You want to put them in water because they'll turn brown. If you don't, they kind of oxidize. And use them in another dish tomorrow. Or make them in the morning with some fried onions and make hash browns or home fries with your breakfast. Then nothing ever goes to waste. So we're going to layer these in just like so. But you don't want too many in here because you want them to all cook down and you want to have enough room in your skillet. But this looks good. We're doing good. Here my pork chops just sizzling over there. They sound great. Alright, that looks pretty even. There goes my oven. It got up to temperature. We got it pre-baked, preheated at 350. There we go. We just layer those in just like this. So I got them all nice and layered in, just like so. And then I'm going to season them with some pepper. With all the seasonings I used on my pork chops, I'm going to season on my potatoes. I'm going to set that down. I'm going to flip these chops real quick. They're smelling so good. Oh yeah, nice color on those. That is perfect. Perfect. That's exactly how you want them to look, that nice golden brown. Alright, we're going to continue to layer our potatoes with our onions. We'll wring those out. Just like that. And just spread them around evenly. So they get evenly distributed and cooked in here. And like I said, it's a meat and potato dish. It's got all your meats and potatoes in there. So all you got to do is worry about your side dish. And I'm going to tell you what my side dish is going to be in here in just a minute. So you layer these out. It's better if I had more than one hand here to help me get these moving. I'll set this down over here. So I'd kind of take the center part out. And I'll save those for later, and I'll chop them up maybe to go with my little hash browns or my home fries tomorrow. Don't waste them. You can use them for something. Alright, that's looking good. So you layer those out and kind of spread them around so they're evenly on this potato. Just like so. And then you get your bell pepper rings and layer those out. It's kind of a colorful dish turning out to be. Just like that. That's perfect. I kind of want to smash it down because I got to put these pork chops on there. I got a couple of little bell pepper nubs in here. Let's use those. There we go. And then you may want to add another little layer of seasoning over that. Salt and pepper. Some of your Tonys. Some of your complete. This is the complete seasoning. And some of your Cavenders, which is the Greek seasoning. Just like that. And a little bit of Tonys. Perfect. And your pork chops are seasoned too, so you're going to get all these layers of flavor going on in here. Alright, these sound like they're done. Oh yes, look at that. That's nice and brown. So we're just going to layer these right on top, just like so. Well, doesn't look like I have a big enough casserole dish, but we'll just make do with what we got. We'll just still brown these up, and I'll just put the small one on there. Listen to that sizzle. Doesn't that sound good? This is a big old boy right here. Sounds really good. So I'm kind of just arrange these around a little bit so I can get this last pork chop on here. I guess I didn't anticipate these pork chops to be so fatty when I took them out of the package. But that's okay. I'm going to continue to cook this one in the pan until it's done, and then we'll maybe make it for our breakfast tomorrow and go with some eggs and our home fried potatoes that I had left over. Doesn't that sound good? Perfect. That's how we do it around here. We just emphasize. That's what's so great about what I'm going to teach you on how to cook. You just do it whatever fits you and your budget and how you like to do it. So we're getting that browned up. So this looks really good, and this is one of the dishes I'm making, a meal for us that we're going to be making, and these are things that you'll be seeing on Cinda's Delish. I'm going to teach you how to cook meals that work for you. And you can always substitute some other kind of meat, or if you are vegan, you can just use the veggies and the potatoes. You don't even have to use the meat. After I get this other pork chop browned up, we're going to put some Campbell's cream of mushroom soup over the top of that. And then we'll pop that in the oven, and it'll make its own little gravy that's going to cook down those potatoes and get them nice and tender and soft, and that'll have its own little gravy going on for the potatoes. And then it'll go great with our side dish that we have over here, which is going to be some cream corn that I use. It's the Bird's Eye brand, and I'm going to show you it in just a moment. I just want to get this cooked up so we can get the show on the road. So we're going to put him right there. He fits perfectly. And this will be good for me and my husband. But if you have a bigger family, of course, you want to get a bigger pan, or maybe you can use 2 pans if you have to. So we're going to spoon over this Campbell's cream of mushroom soup right over the top. Just kind of spread it around, evenly around. This is going to be so yummy. I can't wait to eat it. And if you don't like cream of mushroom or mushrooms at all, you can absolutely substitute either cream of chicken or cream of celery. You can use whatever one you like. But I love cooking with these Campbell's cream of something something. Little something something. There we go. That's looking so good. You just want to make sure the chops are covered, or your chicken breast if that's what you're using. Just make sure they're covered so when you put them in the oven it cooks over the meat. Just like that. And I got the big can because I knew I was cooking 4 pork chops. But if you're only cooking for yourself and you only want 2 pork chops, then you can use the smaller cans. That looks great. Now I'm not going to put any more seasonings on this because I have all the other layers seasoned, and I think that's going to be just fine. Okay, so this is all ready to go. So we're just going to pop this into our oven. It's at 350. Our oven's at 350 degrees, so we're just going to pop this in and cook it for about 45 minutes to an hour. Before I stick this into the oven, I want to add a little water to this can of cream of mushroom soup so we can thin out the mushrooms on the soup on top of the casserole, and it also helps with the potatoes to cook underneath. There's going to be a little bit of fat that cooks down from the pork chops, but not much at all. So this is just going to add a little bit of moisture to those potatoes down there. So I'm just kind of stirring it around, and I'm going to kind of pour it evenly over, just like that. Perfect. I'm going to pop this into the oven. So while that's in the oven cooking, you want to get your side dish ready, which I'm going to make this yummy cream corn that's made by Bird's Eye Mackenzie's. It is so good. It tastes so much like fresh cream corn, except you don't break your knuckles up making it, because all you got to do is cut the top off and put it in the pan. So we are going to, comes in this tube just like this. So we're going to kind of lightly Gently cut this top off. Hold it over your pan because it's going to start squirting out. It's just so tight in here. There we go. We're going to cut that top off and just squish it down into the pan. You find this in the freezer section, believe it or not. I came across this stuff years ago. Couldn't believe how good it was. So we're going to just scrape that out. And it's still just a little bit frozen. I didn't take it out quick enough tonight. Oops. Sometimes you do that, so you just emphasize. That's all you got to do. Perfect. There we go. We got that done. And I like to add a little pat of butter to it to make it real good. You know, we love butter around here. Make it nice and yummy. So I cut about 2 tablespoons of butter in there. And I'll put it on this burner next to the skillet going with my pork chop for the morning, and we'll just put the lid on that, and I'll just put that on very low so it can take its time warming up while we're waiting on our pork chop casserole to come out of the oven. So our timers went off and our pork chops are ready, so we're going to pull them out of the oven right now and put them out here so you can see them. Smells so good in here. Oh wow, those look great. So it looks a little cracked up, a little bit on the top, so we're going to smooth that out with a spoon and just stir it around. Make sure all our pork chops are coated. It looks great. God, if you could just smell how good this kitchen smells right now. That looks awesome. So I'm just going to stir this around just to make sure everything's coated on there. Because I didn't take it out and stir it in between. If you'd like to do that, you can do that. But I'm one of them girls that set it and forget it. I got other things to be doing around the house. Alright. So we're going to let this sit and rest for a few minutes. So we're going to let this sit and rest for a few minutes. And then I will dip into the dish and plate it up for us and try a taste. So this is rested for about 5 minutes, and I'm going to dish it up, and then we're going to taste it and see how yummy it is. I really do appreciate you tuning in to my show. I would love some likes and comments. I just love to hear everything. So I'm gonna get this little guy out first, and I'm going to put him right on my plate there. And then I'm going to spoon out some of these veggies with the potatoes. I'm going to scoop my plate over so I don't make too much of a mess. Which I make a big mess. That's okay. My husband helps me clean and he just loves to do it. Alright. So we'll move this around over there. Get out some of these yummy potatoes. Look how pretty those look. They're done, but they're not just breaking up. Look at that. That looks delicious. And then I'm serving it with that yummy cream corn I told you about. I add just a little bit of cracked black pepper to it. And we'll just put a little bit right here. Just like that. And I love serving my dinners with King's Hawaiian rolls. I buy the big cat pack and I love them. And I use this, can't believe it or not, butter. Did you remember that cute guy that used to work this commercial? Wasn't his name Fabio or something? But I love these little rolls. Sometimes in the middle of the night I come in here and sneak me a roll, put some of this butter on it and shove it in my mouth and have me a little snack. Shh, don't tell my husband though. It looks so good. We're going to cut into that chop right now and have a little taste of it. Wow, look at that. That looks delish. So we're going to have us a little bite of that. Definitely good. Okay, let's try this potato. It's so tender. I'm cutting up just perfect. Got so much flavor. So much flavor from the cream mushroom soup. It's very good. And if you want to add some more of your mushroom soup onto your potatoes, you can do that. To your pork chop. So tonight's meal was pork chop casserole, and I do appreciate you joining me. I love any comments you like, and if you want to watch my channel, hit the subscribe button, and we'll give you some notifications on new changes. And I'm going to be bringing you back some great shows, so continue watching. Thank you. Good night.